Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal. Today, let's take a look at PGIM India Global Equity Opportunities Fund. And this is a fund that many people have emailed me, have commented about it, and on YouTube and in other places and so on. They wanted a review of this fund. I have a question to all those guys. I can't write this on the website because of the great dear Google. So I will ask you here, all those who wanted a review and who showed interest in this PGIM fund, uh, if you had not seen that the last 1 year return was 65% or whatever 59% or something like that, something extraordinarily high, if you had not seen that, how many of you would have even bothered to consider a fund like this? Please don't make this mistake of looking at a very high return in the recent past and wanting to put money in it. This is a you can see this problem in Facebook group Pasan Ideas of Wealth. They see gold moving up, they say let's put in gold. They see your high return from RBI bond, everybody wants to buy RBI bond. This is a terrible way to manage money. Just because you see your 1 year return which is high, yes, it's high, that doesn't make a product interesting enough to even consider. I mean, I will do it. I'm happy to feed off write articles and make videos like this, but please recognize it's very irresponsible, childish and immature to look at something that offers very high return and oh, can I invest in this? No, if it has already offered high return when you put your money, then it's not going to offer you any more higher return. It's just not going to happen. What goes up will fall down. It has already gone up. Don't do childish things and suffer. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, so let's do it. I am very happy to do it. I get views. What do I care? So, so this is given 1 year return of 64% as on 3rd September 2020. The first thing to do when you evaluate a fund, and I enjoy doing this, I tell you, whenever I want to do a fund review, the first thing I do is to look at the fund history. And to look at fund history, you have to dig up fact sheets. When you dig up fact sheets, you get all sort of skeletons fall down from this closet. So it's a fantastic way to learn, and I enjoy doing it. So this PGIM India Global Equity Opportunities Fund, wow, that's a mouthful, started out in May 2010 as DWS Global Agri-Business Offshore Fund by Deutsche Mutual Fund. Again, it was investing in a Luxembourg-based fund, DWS Invest Global Agri-Business Fund. Now, then Pramerica Mutual Fund acquired Deutsche Mutual Fund in August 2015. Before that, Diwan Housing Finance had purchased half the stake in Pramerica. But when Pramerica bought Deutsche, that merger was not complete. Later on in September 2015, that became complete, and then it became DHFL Pramerica Mutual Fund, and this became DHFL Pramerica Global Agri-Business Offshore Fund. Then from October 2018 onwards, they renamed the fund and they designed the fund as DHFL Pramerica Global Equity Opportunities, investing in PGIM Jenison Global Equity Opportunities Fund. This is the fund which is currently the underlying fund of this PGIM fund. That was most likely because PGIM had shown interest in acquiring that business, and I think that probably is the reason why they did it before the actual conversion or the actual sale. That is, DHFL got into trouble, they sold the stake, then DHFL Pramerica sold their business to Prudential Investment Manager, which later became PGIM, and by July 2019 that sale was complete. So basically the fund that you are looking at is essentially about less than 2 years old. It's from October 2018 only it has been investing in this PGIM Jenison Global Equity Opportunities Fund. All this information I was able to find out. I have no idea about it. I don't care much for Pramerica, all these kind of mutual funds. I never consider them because everybody wanted it, and I thought, so it's nice to dig up this history. So effectively it's 2 years old. And if you want to look at the expense ratio, this Indian fund, the fund of fund, PGIM fund of fund, has a AUM of 194 crores. Its direct plan expense ratio is 0.26%. This is about half of the Franklin Feeder Fund direct plan ratio. The expense ratio for the regular plan for the PGIM fund is 1.45%. Now, this 0.26% has to be added to the 0.87% of the PGIM Jenison, the underlying fund. What I have done is to look at the this is the since inception NAV evolution of the PGIM fund, that's shown in black. The red is the S&P 500 total returns. All of it is in USD. The green is the Nasdaq 100 total return. So immediately you can recognize why the PGIM fund has given such a large return in the last 1 year. Anybody who has been investing in the Nasdaq would have also enjoyed such return. The fund manager has basically he has participated in this US tech rally, and some of his stocks, the major weights in his portfolio have been similar to what was driving the Nasdaq up. I have the weights here. Amazon 7%. As on June 30th, it's Amazon 7%, Apple 5.2%, Iden is a Netherlands payment company 4.7%, etc. etc. You can see that's changed a little bit in July, but we don't have the August 31st data as yet. Now, if you look at the rolling returns, you can see here I just have about 125 3-year data. It's very, very short fund, so it's not much of a data. The brown line is the Nasdaq. The green is the Franklin US Opportunities Fund. The yellow is this PGIM Jenison Fund. That's the underlying fund. So, and the pink line is the S&P 500, and the white line is the Schroeder ISF fund. This is the underlying fund of the Axis Global Equity Fund that I talked about yesterday. So you can see from here, if you want to, if you don't mind the concentration risk of Nasdaq, don't mind the huge ups and downs in the Nasdaq price, you are probably better off, relatively, you are probably better off investing in the Nasdaq rather than in this PGIM fund because of the expenses. If you look at the for the Nasdaq option, if you have the Motilal Oswal fund of fund, so that is a 0.1% for direct plan plus 0.54% for the Nasdaq 100 ETF. If you compare that to the 0.26 plus 0.87% for the PGIM combo, obviously that Nasdaq combo is cheaper relatively compared to PGIM fund. If you don't mind this huge volatility and concentration risk of Nasdaq, you can compared to the PGIM, that's a better option, I would say. But my suggestion is, if you want US equity exposure, whatever that means, I don't know how many people understand basic portfolio management, or for those who want that kind of US or international diversification, whatever nonsense that is, I would suggest you can consider the Motilal Oswal S&P 500 index. Is a lot more sedate. The concentration risk is significantly lower. Sectorally, it's much more diversified. Returns for the last 1 year has been low. That doesn't mean always S&P 500 will give you poor returns than Nasdaq. I will do a detailed comparison of the two. So I would suggest that this Motilal Oswal S&P 500 index fund is a much more sedate option. It's got an expense ratio of 0.49%. That would probably make a lot more sense. Please don't make this childish mistake of looking at last 1 year high return and say, oh, let me invest in it, can you do a review? I will happily do a review, but the person who is going to gain from all this is me, because I know how to review. Maybe in YouTube I don't do anything special to have attractive thumbnails or do fancy editing and so on. I don't do it because it's a waste of my time. But I certainly know how to exploit a topic in FreeFinCal and get it wide visibility in several channels of Google. So the person who's going to gain from all this is essentially me. I have got the knowledge of this history. I had fun trying to get this NAV history and download it, compare it, and so on. And I might as well get views and get ad revenue from it. The person who's going to gain from immature requests, childish requests is me, and I'm happy to do it. Bye bye.